Today we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the Canon EFS 10-18mm f4.5 to 5.6 IS STM lens. Now first, let's take a second and figure out what that means. The EFS is very similar to the EF lenses, except it is made for cameras that are crop sensor, so it'll work great with our EOS 70 Mark II. Essentially what that means is it'll work with any cameras that are not full frame, so anything below or at the 70 Mark II range. All those crop sensor cameras will work. You could in theory put this on a full frame camera, except you'll get sort of like a black ring around the outside because it is so wide. So it is a 10-18mm. We're going to be testing out, when we take this outside to take some photos, we're going to be testing out how wide that 10 is and then how sort of narrow that 18 is. The aperture is variable. From when you're at 10 it's 4.5, and then when you're at 18 the lowest you can go is 5.6. We're going to be seeing if that is an issue. IS, that's one of the amazing things when I first saw this lens, that I was like, wow, this is really a great deal. It has image stabilization, which is absolutely phenomenal for video, or even if you're taking photos and there's some sort of wiggle that you have, this image stabilization will make it very, very crisp. And then it is STM motors, so we're going to be testing out how loud it is to focus and stuff like that. Let's open this up. Top here is the usual warranty things. Looks like a bubble wrap. We have the actual lens. It's actually a pretty small lens compared to most of the Canon lenses. There you have it right here. Here's the user manual right here. You're going to want to read this if you want to learn more. Let's take a look at the actual lens itself. So the overall build quality here feels very sturdy, except that all the pieces here are plastic, which is kind of what you would expect for inexpensive lens like this. So we have at 10mm, the actual front element part sort of sticks out a little bit. You see when you zoom in and out, it comes forward and back, which is different than my 17 to 40mm. Let me grab that. So just for a little size comparison, this is the 17 to 40 that I have. It's a Canon L lens. And size comparison, this is much wider around and also taller, which is pretty interesting to see. The EFS, let's take a second to compare the bottom mounting parts. Let's see if we can see a difference. So basically these are the same, except starting right here, there's just a little bit of a lip that goes farther back. I'm not exactly sure why they do that and not just stop it right here, but they do. This does have a very tiny focus ring right here. We're gonna see if you're really gonna need that, because it does have the autofocus, and then the aperture is so high, a majority of the stuff in the frame is going to be in focus. So we're going to see if we really need that, or if we can just rely on the autofocus. Let's pop this on our 70 Mark II here. Goes on very nicely. So let me do a quick just like focusing test. It's actually focusing right now and you can barely hear it. Let me get closer to the mic and see if you can hear at all what this the focusing sounds like. I don't know if you can really hear that at all, but it is so quiet. You're not even going to be able to notice when it's focusing. It feels absolutely solid. So then this also has the image stabilization, which you can turn on and off right here. We're also going to be testing that when we go outside to take some photos. I think that's all we need. Link is below to buy this on Amazon. That's where I picked this up. Came in 2 days. Straight from their Amazon headquarters. So far, I am very impressed with this lens. We're going to take it outside next and test out the image quality, stabilization, focus, speed, see if it can really hold up to the paces. Let's go. Alright, so here we are now with the Canon 10-18mm wide lens. We're going to be testing out the photo and video modes in the woods back here. So without any further ado, let's get to the testing. For shots like these in the woods, I find it absolutely spectacular when you have that wide angle. So here, this is at aperture 4.5, that's the lowest it goes, at 10 millimeters. I don't know about you, but this photo just looks absolutely spectacular because everything's going to the center, and the real wide angle is not too distorting. You can't really tell that it's a terribly wide angle, it just looks like an awesome shot. So one thing that I didn't really know about this lens before is that it says here on the very bottom right here, macro 0.22 meters or 0.7 feet. So you can go a minimum of 0.7 feet away from this and it'll still be in focus. So that means it's kind of a macro lens, which is what I'm kind of testing out here, seeing how this looks when you move your hand closer. And the aperture being at 4.5, you really get a nice background here. So I'm really impressed so far with the different features of this lens. The manual focus ring here is very small. Let me step closer to the camera so you can see this. So the manual focus ring here is really tiny, but if you look at the video here, I'm going to shoot in a minute using it. So I don't know if you can really tell from this, but the manual focus ring is super smooth. I absolutely love that. The autofocus here now seems to be very responsive, works quite fast, I must say. Yeah, I love this so far. Let's check out with the stabilization on and off. So this is with stabilization off. I'm just holding it pretty naturally. Now I'm going to put the stabilization on, and it's basically not moving at all. It's almost like I'm holding a tripod. So right now we're at 10 millimeters. When you move it around like this, you can see a bit of the distortion there. If we move into 18, it looks kind of like a normal length that you would have for a lens. It looks very standard. It's not distorted whatsoever. I'm absolutely loving this so far. Spectacular lens right here. So those are my first impressions using this out in the field. We're now going to go back inside the studio and look at this on the big screen. Let's go. Alright, so we're back inside the studio with the Canon 10-18mm lens. I looked at the photos, they look spectacular. I love the wide angle. I did a couple more test shots without recording video, and the wide angle is really fantastic for making any space sort of look bigger and better than it actually may be. For how inexpensive this lens is, linked below on the Amazon if you want to check it out. I am really impressed with how good the quality is on this lens. I'll definitely be using this for like wide angle video and stuff, maybe mount it onto the Ronin. With that fantastic autofocus, it's really going to be great for doing video. I think that's about all I have to say about this lens. Check out my other lens reviews if you haven't already. I've made reviews on all of these, and hopefully in the future there'll be some more too. Thank you for watching.